Your first guest, very important part of a very important organization here in the city. They do more than you think that they do. They do way more than that. It is Dave Rogers, Executive Director of the SPCA. Dave, how you doing?
Very good. Very good.
Very excited to have you guys here.
Oh, well, thank you.
You know, we were talking about it off camera, and I was really surprised at all the stuff that you guys end up having a hand in. It's really impressive.
Yep. Most people seem to think, and rightfully so, that the SPCA, we're involved in rescuing and caring for animals, and for the most part, domestic pet animals, you know, like we call them companion animals. And certainly we are. That's a big part of what we do every day. But like I said earlier, you know, just to name drop a few things, I mean, we get involved with the cat rescues in the area if they're in need of food or litter and we have some extra, then we help them out. Atlantic Wildlife Institute, we provide them with food from time to feed the bears because they like dog food. You know, Atlantic Veterinary College, we provide them with services when they're training vets and so on. Local veterinarians, I know I'll miss somebody, but then we get involved in things that would seem unrelated. We get involved with both Francophone and Anglophone school districts. Schools will call, and particularly younger grades, and say, can you bring us over some kittens or a dog, or talk to the class about animals? And
everybody loves kittens.
Absolutely. So we'll go over, and one of our animal control officers would go over and sit down with them and discuss, you know, how you handle a cat or kitten and how you don't handle them. Things of that nature. So we're out in the community quite a bit. We also get involved with I'm trying to think of their name now, social services. When people are trying to get back into the community and get back to work and they just need a leg up, they'll come out and work with us for a couple or 3 weeks just to get used to going to work in the morning again. And a judge may order someone to do some community service time to work off a penalty, we'll say, and they'll end up out there with us, and we'll track their time and their activities for them. Even more severe, the parole board or Corrections Canada will contact us, and we'll have people come in that are being released into society again who will come out and work with us for a few months, and we track all that. There's very many organizations that we're involved in, almost too many to name. Reconnect. You know, when people are down and out and they need a place to spend the night, and the YMCA will help them out through that program, and we'll provide a dog kennel for them if they happen to have a dog, and some food and things of that nature. So we're kind of a 24/7 operation with a hand in a little bit of everything. Whenever anybody comes to us with a good idea or a request, we're usually on board to get in. You know, I mean, pay back to the community as best we can.
Yeah, for sure. Now, you guys are in the news recently, and we'll just sum it up right now.
Yep.
You guys are in for a new building.
We are.
Get one now.
We are.
Almost $6 million.
Yep.
That's a pretty big price tag.
It's a big price tag.
It is.
Yeah,
Now,
a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money for anybody.
Yeah.
You guys had a grant application with the city that was denied. So that's gotten public, and we'll just leave it at that.
Yep.
But what's next for you guys? Because this is a big price tag for you.
Yeah. Just to clarify that point before we go on. Yes, and that particular issue, we've been invited to the city to have further discussions. There are other doors and other avenues open that they feel they can help us in that regard. So yes, we've made presentations to all three of the municipal councils here in the area, Dieppe, Moncton, and Riverview. They're all considering helping us a little bit. We're not asking them to foot the whole bill, of course. We also have a preparation of a presentation ready to go for the provincial government. We need to present to them as well. It's important, I think, that we have our municipal leaders, our provincial leaders on side, so that people realize the support that they're giving us. That makes it a little easier than when we go to other donors, whether they be big donors or small donors, when we start our actual campaign in 2018. To be able to say that, you know, we're of that great an importance to our municipalities, to our province. Maybe you can help us out as well.
Now, and in speaking of that, that's a big price tag, but you have mentioned every year. I mean, there's a big price tag, it seems, on every year.
Sure.
So where does the money come from? How do you guys, you know, operate?
Well, okay, to summarize that, the budget out there is about $1.1 million a year to operate the Greater Moncton SPCA. And of that, probably 200,000 of that is paid for by the City of Moncton with an animal control contract that we have with them. We go and provide animal control and bylaw enforcement as it relates to animals in the City of Moncton only. Mm-hmm. We then get the City of Moncton gives us about 24,000 towards upkeep for the animals, feeding the animals and so on. It's their way of saying thanks for looking after the animals in the City of Moncton. Mm-hmm. Then there's the New Brunswick SPCA, which is a provincial group, and they chip in about 9,200 a year. The rest of it, unfortunately, is left to be made up by either adoption fees or donations. Mm-hmm. And that's how we make our ends meet out there. So every year, as I joked earlier, it's the worst business plan model in the world. I start out knowing where about 300,000 is coming from of a $1.1 million budget, mm-hmm. and we have to make up the rest. That's our job every year. Mm-hmm. It's only through the kindness of people in southeastern New Brunswick that we actually manage to make it every year. And we've been doing this since 1955 quite successfully. Mm. So that shows just how important it is to people in the Greater Moncton area that we succeed.
Yeah. So that business model somehow has worked for 63 years now. You know, it's incredible.
Yes, it has. Yeah. And it'll continue to work. It will continue to work. Mm. The model has to change a little bit. It has to change with times. Some of what we were doing 10 years ago is not working well today. Mm-hmm. So we are kind of, we have a young lady hired who's giving us a hand with some better ideas of how we should proceed in the future as far as fundraising and advancing.
Mm. So what does the future look like for you guys? You don't necessarily have to show your whole hand, but
look,
you know.
Nothing's a big secret. It's a nonprofit, so anybody's entitled to know it. Our future in the next few years, I think we're focused quite a bit, of course, on the new building. Mm-hmm. We hope to have that open and operational in 2020. I'd like to see it in 2019. Not sure if that'll happen.
Hope for the best.
Well, you never know. If I win the lottery, maybe we'll open earlier. But our plan is to be open by 2020 and to continue doing what we're doing and doing it better. The building we're in now is not, it was designed in the late 70s. There weren't standards the way they are today for housing domestic animals the way that we need to house them. Mm-hmm. And the biggest battle we face day to day in the shelter is disease control. Mm-hmm. Guaranteed almost if you bring me an animal within, and drop off a healthy animal within 3 or 4 weeks, if they've been there long enough, due to stress and other conditions, they'll probably end up sick with something. Mm-hmm. We can eliminate that with this new building. We can eliminate it by using, instead of concrete for kennels, we'll use stainless steel and acrylics, so that they can be cleaned, so that germs and viruses can't hide from us anymore. Mm. The ventilation system needs to be done differently. One of the architects the other day said, gee, this is almost like building a hospital, and in some respects it is. Mm. You need to divert air out of the building that's coming from certain areas, and you need lots of fresh air coming in. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, and this is where you can totally design a new building from scratch, where you can really kind of set everything that you need and want, basically.
That's right. Yeah. And we had to separate the needs and wants. Oh my God. We had to separate the needs and wants.
No, it's all good. You're just a popular guy. It's all good. But yeah, no, separating.
Shut my cell phone off.
But very popular guy.
So but let me cancel this.
We'll get right there. Just hit a button. There we go.
Oh, if he can get it.
There we go. We got it. Yes. Okay. Sorry. So needs and wants. We'll go back.
We had to separate that. I mean, when you're looking at a new building and you say, "Gee, wouldn't it be nice if we had this? Wouldn't it be nice, like leather chairs in the office and teak desks?" So we didn't do that, but we had to go look at the things like, do we need more space? And the idea is, no, we don't need more space. We need to use the space we have. That's my boss calling, I know it is. So we had to,
let's get it.
There, I got it this time.
There we go, we got it, all right.
So I had to, we had to look at it from that standpoint of needs and wants, and we did have to eliminate some things. Mm-hmm. It would be nice to put a vet clinic in our new building. Mm-hmm. We don't have money. We don't have, that would be a big extravagance for us. Mm. And we would be competing with some of the vets that we know and love in the area. Mm-hmm. So we eliminated things like that. Having a grooming boutique for the dogs and so on, that would just be another So a lot of these things got eliminated along the way. We don't need as much space. We need to use it smarter. We need to keep animals healthy and get them in the front door and out just as fast as we can so that they don't get sick, so that they don't get lonesome, they don't end up with shelter fatigue, etc.
Right, and that totally makes sense to me. So
Yep.
sounds like a great plan.
Absolutely.
We'll get the budget sorted out eventually, that budget plan.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, we've got the budget all set. The budget is, I would say, cast in stone now. We know what it's going to cost us.
All right, so Dave, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Be sure to check out
for the phone.
Moncton, yes. Be sure to check out monctonspca.ca. It's got more details there, Dave. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.